Last night there was a cheap shot in the NBA game by Isaiah Thomas to Andrew Wiggins. Now, what I'm about to say may sound appalling, but every sport has a code. In baseball, don't watch your home run too long. You will be punished by a hard ball upstairs. In hockey, don't screw with a goalie. You'll get a stick in the back of the neck. In football, we have a bite. Tony Gonzalez talked about this yesterday on Speak for Yourself. Tony's like, playoff game, concussion, lie to the doctors. Mm-hmm. Stay in the game. So let's show this cheap shot. In the NBA, it's a long season. Sometimes you come into a town, back-to-back, not rested. You're beat up, missing people. You don't humiliate the other team. T-Wolves keeping starters in, shooting more threes, second most threes last night. So when Isaiah Thomas goes out and clubs, I don't need it with a sound, just roll the tape. When he does this, I'm not appalled by it because I grew up in an NBA. You don't humiliate teams. And Cleveland was shot last night. And I know it makes me sound like a creep, but in baseball and in football and in hockey and, yes, in basketball, there are man codes. Don't humiliate us, Chris.
I agree with some of that. But do you take it out on the player that's out there on the floor? Look, keeping the starters out late is a vintage Tom Thibodeau move.
Yes.
Like, you want to take your frustration out on somebody, walk over the sideline, and accidentally bump the coach. Whacking Andrew Wiggins like that, which, by the way, is probably going to get Isaiah suspension.
Yeah.
With a shot like that.
It
Whacking him in that way doesn't help anybody. It's not his fault. I mean, what is it? Should Andrew Wiggins be pulling up from 26 feet to, I mean, is the bigger issue that he's on the floor or that he's driving to the basket late in the game of a blowout? What's the issue?
I think the issue is, listen, man, you're shooting threes nonstop. You're having a really good time. Pay a little respect. It's an off night for us. You can beat us by 30. Don't dog it. Don't show it. Stop threes. And I think this is, and again, you're saying, Colin, you're maybe in lacrosse, you can't shop at J. Crew. It's got to be Abercrombie and Fitch. Maybe that's the man code in lacrosse. I didn't grow up in a lacrosse school. But there are codes in sports. And it's sport. I'm not talking high school. I'd never have my son do this. I'm not talking college. Pro sports are masculine. And there's things you don't do. And in the NBA, you don't show dudes up. I guess maybe I know I
yeah, but there's degrees of showing a guy up. There's what like Ricky Davis did like 10 years ago when he's trying to get a triple-double and he's throwing the ball up his own backboard to score there. That's showing guys up. Okay. It's shooting a three when you're up by 20 when the shot clock's running down late in the game when it's about to expire. That to me is not showing guys up. That to me is, hey man, play the game, play defense. The Cavs haven't played defense all season long. They just got posted 127 by Orlando the night before this debacle. Play defense. That, to me, isn't trying to show anybody up. That's trying to play the game all the way through.
Okay, so Doug Gottlieb was on, and he's talking about this circus. Listen, Luke Walton had to have a players' meeting a couple of weeks ago before LaVar's comments. Now you add LaVar's comments. Do you believe there are people within the Laker organization that are like saying to Magic, we got to move off Lonzo?
No, I don't think they're there yet. I think they're extremely frustrated by what's going on right now, but I don't believe they want to. That's like the nuclear option.
Okay.
That's moving Lonzo is the nuclear option. I think they need to try new things, though, when it comes to LaVar. Colin, last 2 days, I've asked probably half a dozen or more general managers how they would handle this situation.
Oh, what do they say?
And to a man, they have said some version of it's time to take out the stick. Like they tried the carrot a little bit. They sat down. They assuaged LaVar. They treated him in ways no organization would ever treat a parent. I was asking Mike Budenholzer this. I was like, have you ever had to deal with the parent as a pro coach? He's like, no, man. Like, why would you ever deal with a parent like this? They treated him in ways that no parent of a player they're rarely treated. So now you're at the point where if he's going to keep doing this, no matter what the circumstances were, you've got to go out there and you've got to slap him around a little bit. You've got to call him in and say, you do this one more time and we're pulling your credentials. Lonzo can still give you his 2 tickets, but we're pulling your credentials. You want to do an interview on the concourse? You go ahead and do that, but you're not going to get a family credential. And Magic should say, I'm going to walk down to the press room and I'm going to tell the media exactly what I told you. I'm going to put you on blast so that everybody in the world knows that we are tired of this and we're tired of you, and this is the line we're drawing.
By the way, Cavaliers have this Isaiah Thomas thing. My takeaway always with LeBron is there's a precedent. Wade and him took about 18 games. He and Kyrie took about 13, 14 games. I'm not really interested to the All-Star game. I'm going to check in at the All-Star game if they've figured out defensive rotations. Isaiah Thomas is a guy that he has the ball a lot in his hands.
Right.
LeBron likes it. I figure it's not going to work ideally. How do you think it eventually works out?
Look, LeBron truthers drive me crazy a little bit. Like Nick Wright's a LeBron truther too. Like we do this. I go back and forth with him all the time about where Cleveland is. And the LeBron truthers just believe like, well, who cares about the regular season? It doesn't matter. LeBron, the Cavs will turn it up in the playoffs. That is about the dumbest argument when it comes to this season that I could possibly hear. Boston's threat to them this year is real. Boston right now would beat them in a 7-game series. Boston's defense is night and day compared to what the Cavaliers are, and the Celtics are getting better. And I'm not so sure when I look at the Cavaliers that I see them getting that much better before the end of the season. Yes, Isaiah Thomas is going to improve them offensively, but what is their problem, Colin? They were the third best offensive team in the NBA when Isaiah Thomas came back. Their problem is that Minnesota's blowing them out, that Orlando's putting 127 on them. I know the playoffs are different. The game slows down. Can you trust Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? These are valid. I trust Jason Tatum. I trust Jason.
He's 19.
Oh,
Chris.
He is an He is a brilliant offensive player.
I don't trust my 19-year-old to babysit
as a third
my kids.
option. I trust him as a third option. I don't trust him to be the man.
Who's
going to
guard LeBron? They gave away Jay Crowder.
Difficult to guard LeBron, right? But they'll throw multiple guys at him and make somebody else beat them. Plus, you ask, and I've asked people in Cleveland this too, like after the Cavs got smoked by Boston just a week and a half ago, this Boston team is better because of their defensive versatility. The pick and roll is the bread and butter play in today's NBA, right?
Yes.
Everybody runs it. Boston switches everything. They might be the only team in the league that at certain times during a game, they can switch 1 through 5. So it's not going to be one guy on LeBron. It's going to be, okay, we're going to switch Brown with Tatum. We're going to switch Brown with Horford. It's not perfect, but they have more defensive versatility than any team in basketball right now. That's going to be a real asset against the Cavs.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.